Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. This is Orphanlast, and today we're going to be doing a study on some basic information about the human anatomy. So what we have here is where you get the measurement of a person's head, okay? And each one of these lines represents the same length of his head going up and down, okay? So it's 1, 2, 3. And then it reaches pretty much the groin area. The thing is like, there's like this weird little space here. If you grab this space and just placed it up here and actually started from here down, it'd be 3 heads long, okay? So 1, 2, 3. That should be where the groin is, in this little space here, from this line to this line, these horizontal lines here. If you just move them up here, you would be at the groin if you did 3 heads long. So you start right there at the collar, 3 heads long, and then it goes down to the groin area. Once again, we have him 1, 2, 3, right at the groin area. All right. Here, 1, 2, 3, right at the groin. All right. And then for the legs, like for him here, it's 1, 2. Then it's at the bottom of the kneecap. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so it's 4 heads long for the legs. Once again, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, of course he's got this weird half, 1 half and 1 half here. If you actually took this right here, this little section here, and moved it down here, it'd be right there. So it'd be like 4 heads long to his ankle. All right, so that's the general rule. The human body is 7 heads long, and if you notice with his hand, with his arm, it's, let's see, 1, 2. Let's see, so 2, and then there's this half here, and then there's this half here. So it's 3 heads long for the arm to reach the shoulder. All right, and this is actually a pretty good image here. So I'm going to save it. And I'm going to put it into my pictures and into my references, and I'm going to go ahead and save it as heads long. All right, just as a little bit of a reference, because I like the way that this is presented. I've seen many different ways that this has been presented. So, like, let's go ahead and test this theory out, okay? Let's test it in a situation where you might have a figure that is a real human being. Let's go ahead and do that. Pictures. Let's go ahead and open up a new file, new, and whatever. I don't care what type of template we use, just as long as we got one. I got this stock image. I'm not, like, I'm using it for educational purposes, and since it's a stock image especially, I like, really educational purposes, you can use pretty much anything for educational purposes. Anyway, so alright, so we got this guy here, alright, and I'm not doing any manipulation to the image. I'm just going to go ahead and grab this, go from the top of his head down to the bottom of his head, and change this to here, and so it's 1.5 inches long. So let's type in one. Well, that's the first time I did it was 1.4. So okay, so about 1.5, 1.4. It doesn't really matter. It's pretty dang close. 1.5. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull out my calculator. Okay, so calculator. We got that. All right, so it's 3 heads long down to his groin area, right? So 1.5 multiplied by 3 equals 4.5, all right? So let's see if from his collarbone down to his groin, if it's 1.5. Yeah, I'm sorry, not 1.5. Yeah, 4.5. Okay, so 4.2. That's close enough. Okay, so let's see here. So from here down, it says it's 5 even. So his head is 1.5. So 1.5 multiplied by 4, it is 6. Really? 1.5 multiplied by 4 equals 6. Okay, that's 5 even. So this guy's got some short legs. So these are ideas that are kind of a bit of a generalization. And people come in different sizes and shapes all the time. And so this is just a general rule. It usually works, and it doesn't always work. And that's one of the reasons why I use this example. Okay, so let me go ahead and close this down. I don't care about saving it. I'm going to delete that image as soon as it's gone. I don't have any other reason to use it. So we got my guy here. Okay, so let's go ahead and measure him out. And so let's see here. All right, let's go ahead and delete that. All right, so I got my measuring tool out, and I'm going to go ahead and measure to the top of his head. Not from his hair, but from the top of his head down. Okay, so it is how many inches? 1.3. 1.3. All right, let's go ahead and type that in. 1.3. And so 1.3 times 3 heads long is almost 4, so pretty much 4. So let's go ahead and measure from his collarbone down, and it is 4 heads long. And so if we measure from here down to, let's say, his ankle, it is 5.2. So our original measurement was for his head was 1.3. Sorry about that. Let's see, 1.3 multiplied by 4 equals 5.2. 5.2. All right. So we have an anatomically correct human being right here. And so from here to here, okay, so I think it was 1.3 for his head. Am I correct? Yeah, 1.3 about. Okay, so from here down to his wrist, it is 3.2. So it's 3 heads long for the arm. So and then if you were to stretch your fingers out as straight as they can go, okay? Now the normal pose for the human hand is something like where the thumb comes here and your index finger curls over, and your middle finger might do that, and then your other fingers kind of do something like that. But if you were to get your thumb and your fingers and stretch them out as far as they could go, okay? And just stretch them out as far as they could go, that's almost 1 full head length. But in all honesty, how often do you actually hold your hand out 100% straight? You don't. You really don't. It's not very often. Not in a natural pose at all. It's like if you're stretching out to try to save someone's life or something. That's typically a situation where you'd find that. And I do plan on actually delving into tutorials that will discuss more detailed information about the human anatomy. But as of right now, I'm mainly focused on just getting this thing done. I will be having different scenarios where I'm going to be drawing the torso in different poses, the arms in different poses, the legs, and etc. So I'm going to be having a lot of practice with human anatomy pretty soon here. And so while I'm doing that, I'll be delving into the human anatomy. And it's best to teach human anatomy during a situation like that. And the reason being is because a lot of people, they'll learn the muscles and they won't actually think of the muscles as a series of ropes wrapping around a flexible stick. And as the stick moves and rotates, especially around the forearm where the radius and ulna bones happen to be, they happen to draw the forearm in one pose and the hand in a different pose, and so it looks wrong. And they don't know why. They know the human anatomy, and yet for some reason it doesn't look right. Well, you're not considering how the muscles and the bones work together. And so that's my tips for the day. Please like, share, and subscribe. I hope this tutorial was useful to you, and please leave a comment. Sometimes it gets a little lonely. I'm just going to leave the video running until it goes ahead and naturally stops. Anyways, you guys have a great day.